In the wind-swept sands of 4th century Egypt, amid the rugged stillness of the Sketis Desert, there lived a young man who would become a symbol of profound humility and spiritual wisdom, Saint Zachariah of Kemet. Born the son of Karion, it's also called Cyrion, a respected monk in the Egyptian monastic tradition. Zachariah was raised in the sacred discipline of desert asceticism. His feast is commemorated on December 5th, honoring a life that, while hidden from the world, continues to illuminate paths of holiness. Today we continue our journey through the lives of the Desert Fathers. If you haven't already, start the series from the beginning by clicking the link provided. The deserts of Egypt were not empty. They were alive with the prayers and struggles of men who sought God with a purity that the world could not offer. From a young age, Zachariah learned to fast, to pray, and to love silence, not as a retreat from the world, but as a bridge to the divine. His father, Karion, had once left his wife and children behind to enter the monastery. But in an act of divine providence, young Zachariah eventually came to live with him at the same monastery. Drawn by the same longing for God that had captured his father, though young Zachariah surpassed many of the elder monks in his wisdom and serenity, he embraced manual labor, deep silence, and ceaseless prayer with a kind of joyful endurance that marked him out as truly holy. It was said that when he prayed, his face shone with light. The old men of the desert marveled at his meekness. He had no pride, no interest in fame or influence. He simply wanted to disappear into God. One day a visitor came to see the elder Karion, and he heard about his son. "Where is this boy? Let me see him." When he found Zachariah, the boy was weeding the garden. The elder asked, "Are you Zachariah, the son of Karion?" And he answered, "I am. Come, my son, let us go to the cell." Then the boy washed his hands, put on a robe, and went with the elder. The elder asked him, "Do you wish to acquire the fear of God?" "It is my desire, and leave me and go into the wilderness, into the inhabited desert. And if you are able to endure, come back after 6 months." So saying, he blessed him and dismissed him. Zachariah took some bread and went out to the wilderness. There he dwelt in a certain place and wrought his own salvation in solitude. After 6 months, the elder sent for him again and asked, "Did you benefit?" "I did, Father, so I want to stay there." The elder said, "Stay therefore, and may God help you." Zachariah stayed there for 5 years. And when he returned, the elder said to him, "You have been idle here. Go now into the great desert, and do not return until you have passed the test of your virtues." Zachariah took some bread with him and went out into the great desert. There he settled in a certain place and spent 7 years. Zachariah had no interest in attracting attention, didn't seek out the elders to bask in their praise or correct his course. Yet it was during these years that the desert began to speak of him. As he walked through the wilderness, animals stopped to let him pass, sensing the holiness in his quiet steps. Once, while he was praying, a lion approached him and lay down beside him. Zachariah continued praying, and the lion, feeling the power of his peace, fell asleep. A few years passed, and one day a visitor arrived in the desert seeking spiritual guidance. Hearing about a young monk who lived nearby, the visitor set out to find him. When he located Zachariah's hermitage, he found the lion resting at the entrance. Not knowing that it was tame, the visitor panicked. He stumbled backward until his foot hit a stone, and he fell down. Zachariah emerged from his cell, saw the visitor lying on the ground, and asked, "What happened to you?" The visitor, still afraid of the lion, replied, "I meant no harm to the brother, nor did I want to disturb him. But I have been frightened by the wild beast which is guarding his cell. So I turned to leave and fell." Zachariah reassured him, "Do not fear. The lion does not harm anyone. Come to me without fear." Zachariah went to the lion and caressed it, and the animal, as if understanding his master's words, got up and left quietly. Zachariah invited the visitor to sit down and talk to him about spiritual matters. After the conversation, the visitor asked, "By what means can a person attain to righteousness?" Zachariah replied, "First of all, to be humble. For without humility, no one can please God. Second, to avoid sin. Third, to perform good works. Fourth, to abstain from evil thoughts. Fifth, to stand firm in prayer. Sixth, to respect the priesthood. Seventh, to honor one's parents. Eighth, to love all people. 9th, to turn away from anger. And the 10th, to abstain from food and drink. The visitor then asked, "Can we be saved by good works alone?" Zachariah replied, "No, only through faith in Christ. However, just as the body cannot be saved without the soul, so faith cannot be saved without works. For what use is faith that does not produce works?" Years passed and Zachariah remained in his desert cell. While his reputation grew, he shrank further into solitude. One evening, a band of robbers approached his hermitage, intending to plunder the possessions of the holy man. As they broke into his simple dwelling, they found nothing to steal. Seeing Zachariah, they mocked him, demanding gold or precious stones. Unfazed, offered them the only thing he had, his food. The robbers, touched by his tranquility, hesitated. One of them asked, "How can you be so calm when we are going to kill you?" Zachariah responded, "Why wouldn't I be calm? For I know that whoever kills me will receive 100-fold compensation in the afterlife." Intrigued, the robber asked, "Will you go to heaven, if God wills?" Zachariah replied. This unexpected answer puzzled the robbers, causing them to abandon their mission and flee into the night. News of Zachariah's fearless sanctity spread, and seekers of spiritual guidance often made the pilgrimage to the desert to meet him. But despite the crowds, Zachariah remained as elusive as the desert wind. It was almost as if he wished to fade into the vastness of sand and sky. When he did speak, his words were as concise and clear as the stars that peppered the night sky. "The Lord helps those who help themselves. Do not be hypocritical. Do not be envious. Love the one who wronged you. Stand in awe of God and love your neighbor. Let him who wishes come and let him who wishes stay away. What is a man going to do when he enters heaven? To stand and stretch out his arms and say, 'Lord, I have done all these things for you.' No, it is all about the heart." As the years passed, Zachariah continued his silent vigils, his body frail, yet his spirit robust. The sun and the sand seemed to weave tales of his life, stories whispered on the wind. The old men of the desert knew his passing was near, but no one dared approach him, fearing they might disturb the sanctity of his final moments. Then one day a visitor arrived, having traveled far to meet the holy man. Finding Zachariah's hermitage, he looked inside and saw the body of the saint lying in front of the entrance. The visitor sat down beside him, not knowing that Zachariah had already passed into eternity. When the desert wind swept across the sand, it carried a single word: peace. And thus, the life of Saint Zachariah of Kemet, the humble monk who found divinity in simplicity, came to an end. His legacy resonated in the vast expanse of the desert, a testament to a life well lived in the silence of solitude.